Welcome back. I get so many questions about how I eat gluten-free meals on airlines when I'm traveling on a long-haul flight, and I figured today would be a great opportunity to share how I do that and all the steps so that you can book your gluten-free meal on your next long-haul flight. Hi, I'm Sarah. In 2021, I was diagnosed with celiac disease at 23 years old. I had a really hard time processing this major life change, and I thought I couldn't do the things I really loved anymore, like traveling. But I've been determined to continue to live life to the fullest, and since my diagnosis, I've been able to travel to over 20 countries and counting. Now I plan on traveling all around the world and finding the best gluten-free food along the way. For this example, I am going to use a flight that I took on KLM. It was from Paris to Chicago, and it had a layover in Amsterdam. The most important thing you need to know when you're booking your gluten-free meal is that this must be done at least 24 hours to 48 hours ahead of time, depending on the airline. The best way to get around this situation and potential issue is if you just book your gluten-free meal right at the time of booking. So usually when I'm booking my flight these days, I check immediately. I book my flight to Seoul and then I book my gluten-free meal on the airline as well. That is the best way to remember, and then you won't have any situations about missing the deadline, which I recently did go through on our trip home from Manchester. I have a whole video coming out about that experience later. And before I get into all the steps that I take online, I do want to say that you can call the airline if that is what you prefer to do. Just have your confirmation number and all your information ready so that the assistant can help you with that. And without further ado, let me show you how I do this online. Number one, my advice is to make an account with every airline that you fly with. I just think this is super helpful for storing information, especially when you're going to request that gluten-free meal and you want to go back and check ahead of time just to make sure it's saved. It's really important to make that account so that you can log back into and double check. It's free to do for every airline. I probably have like over 10 accounts and it's really easy. And this also helps with getting status in miles, especially if you are flying with a specific airline frequently. And for this example, I'm going to be showing you how to mark your gluten-free meal after booking. So for this step 2, you're going to log into your account and search your confirmation number to find your booking. And so as you can see now, I am in my booking and I scroll down to meals and click on meals. For this first flight from Paris to Amsterdam, there's no greater meal selected. So then the longer flight from Amsterdam to Chicago, I selected the gluten intolerant meal. Now you can see that that's confirmed. I've read all the ingredients and now it's all done. Easy. So yeah, usually it's pretty obvious and straightforward. Just make sure you're looking in all the booking settings and then even in the settings or the special services in the booking itself. Now, a couple notes on the particular meals. I am sure you noticed that it said gluten intolerance and not gluten allergy. For me, the first time, this was a super red flag. I got really nervous thinking that I couldn't eat this meal at all. However, I think this is just one of those instances where the airline is trying to legally cover their own butts, just in case anyone tries to sue, because all of the meals that I've personally had on airplanes have been packaged, gluten-free and celiac safe, and I've had no issues. However, please use your own cautiousness and eat everything at your own risk because we are all different. The other big note is if you have two needs, like dietary restrictions, for example, if you are gluten-free and you're a vegetarian, the airlines tend to not accommodate this well, specifically on the online version, because it's just not in their system that you can click to. This doesn't really make any sense to me. This seems like this is something they should work on, but just please be mindful of that if you have multiple dietary restrictions and pack extra snacks and meals accordingly. Then you're all set. You should be able to go back into your booking and see that gluten-free request and feel very accomplished. I use these strategies on my next flight to Singapore and Korea, so subscribe so you don't miss those future videos. I am so excited for the gluten-free food. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.